Welcome to Bass Habits episode number 92. Today we're checking out the one and only Jerry Only from the Misfits. Often recognized as the pioneers of horror punk, the Misfits have been fusing punk rock with themes and imagery from horror films since 1977, the early days of the punk movement. Their iconic image and distinctive style have made them one of the most famous and recognizable old-school punk bands in history. Bass player Jerry Only is known more for his raw energy, visual presence, and driving punk rhythms than for technical bass prowess. His bass style is straightforward and aggressive, characterized by fast picking, simple root note lines, and a thick, gritty tone that locks in tightly with the drums, contributing to the band's relentless momentum and dark, theatrical atmosphere. Jerry's early style is somewhat comparable to D.D. Ramones, although Jerry is more of an alternate picking guy. The tone, however, is completely different. In the early Misfits years, Jerry played a Rickenbacker 4001 and used a thumb pick, very unusual for a bass player. His tone was heavily distorted and extremely mid-range dance, with the low end scooped out and very little treble. Its position in the mix is somewhat comparable to Lemmy from Motorhead. As punk as it gets, the tuning even seems slightly off in some of their recordings. In later years, around 1995, when the Misfits regrouped with new singer Michael Graves and emphasized their horror movie aesthetic even more, Jerry started playing his famous custom-made Devastator bass. In true DIY punk spirit, Jerry built his own instrument. Through a lot of trial and error, he built a Devastator from scratch in his family's machine shop, incorporating unique design elements like the skull headstock and bat wing shapes. The bass has evolved over time, with Jerry incorporating new materials like graphite and wood from Louisville Slugger. At some point, Rickenbacker began producing a Devastator bass, but as far as I know, he still plays his custom instrument. Jerry's Devastator bass guitar, along with his Fiend battle armor, are on display at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Around that time, Jerry dropped the thumb pick and started playing with his fingers. His finger, or rather hand technique, is pretty unusual. He hits the strings like he's using a pick, but instead he uses one or more fingers, I think. I'm not completely sure what's going on there. The tone also changed, becoming even fuzzier and dirtier. On their Michael Graves era releases, American Psycho and Famous Monsters, the band had better production and Jerry's bass became more solid and consistent, cutting through the mix with its gritty, unapologetically dirty tone. In my opinion, this is the best Misfits era. Yep, I say that. And don't get me wrong, I love Glenn Danzig. His solo records are stellar. The dark, creepy, gothic rock style suits his voice way better than the early Misfits material. At the same time, I think the more melodic direction the Misfits took with Michael Graves was perfect for them and matched their cartoonish monster theme of the late 90s far better. I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I just can't help it. Dig Up Her Bones beats Hybrid Moments any day of the week. And Danzig tracks like Mother, Twist of Cain, or Dirty Black Summer outperform anything from the early Misfits catalog. After the Michael Graves era, Jerry Only took on lead vocal duties and recorded 2 more albums. Project 1950, a cover album of 50s classics, and The Devil's Reign, released in 2011. Both feature solid production and Jerry's signature distorted bass tone. As far as songwriting, as you probably guessed, there's not much to dissect. The Misfits aren't about intricate bass lines or complex guitar riffs. Most of the time, it's power chords on guitar, the bass doubling them, and simple pounding drums. A few examples of standout bass riffs include the intro of Crimson Ghost, the intro of London Dungeon, and the walking bass under the solo in Descending Angel. And that's pretty much it. Despite his basic style, Jerry Only is a hugely influential musician who inspired thousands of kids to pick up a bass and start a band. His unmistakable, instantly recognizable look made him a true punk icon. It's no surprise that he influenced bass legends like Duff McKagan and Cliff Burton, and that both Guns N' Roses and Metallica have covered the Misfits. Plus, he's the driving force that kept the band alive for over 40 years. So if you're not familiar with Jerry Only, go ahead and crank up some Misfits today.